Welcome to the Window Wisdom Podcast, your guide to replacement windows and more.
All right, welcome to the Window Wisdom Podcast number 34. Today we're going to try to give you some advice on questions to ask and how to prepare for a window in-home consultation. When you go get a proposal from someone, a company, you really want to try to be prepared. And today Kevin is going to help us do that. Kevin, you slid right in here this morning.
I did. Yeah.
What's that all about?
I know. Hopefully our listeners have seen some of our social media content, some of our Instagram content, some of the creative things that we've been doing. And yes, that requires me sliding across our showroom floor. So you'll want to be able to check that out. So
that was hilarious.
It's been a running joke around the office.
If you haven't seen that, check out Kevin's latest social media appearances.
Yeah, but like Ted said, I just think this is a good opportunity for us to really, the title of our podcast is Window Wisdom. Obviously we're not shy about the fact that we have a window and door business and, we're dedicated to the Infinity from Marvin brand. But, Ted's been in the industry a long time. He's fed in a lot to me, taught me a lot. And I think that this is a good platform for us to use to really educate these homeowners on when they're having someone in their house, just trying to help make them more of an expert so that they feel comfortable, they feel empowered, when dealing with someone in the home improvement space.
Absolutely. And there's many reasons that people replace their windows. Can we start out by just talking about some of those signs of what that initial call is, as a result of?
Yeah, I think it's multiple things. It's kind of a spectrum. I think most of the time in Georgia, what we see is a lot of rot. A lot of our builders decided to put in wood windows when, the state of Georgia and Atlanta was really growing. We have a lot of annual rainfall, so that's not perfect for our wood windows. So I would say our number one would usually be rot. But one of the things that we think about a lot, we actually see this more often than not, when you kind of think about kitchen remodels, right? A lot of times people are remodeling their kitchen because they need an updated look.
Sure.
Right. So the kitchen's still functional, but it might not be, the current trends, the current style.
Right.
So a lot of times we have customers, maybe something's really not wrong with the windows, but they see their neighbors putting in black windows and casements and SDLs, and they think, man, look how that made that house look. Yeah, maybe my windows aren't rotting out, but I really want to update my curb appeal.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot more of people, kind of speeding up with the trends and kind of get their homes looking sharp.
Yeah. Remodeling their house, bringing their indoor and outdoor living spaces together.
Yep.
A lot of obvious signs: seal failure, hard to open and close. There could be safety concerns. So a number of reasons. So we've identified where our windows are not in great shape. We need to have somebody out. How do we go about finding that first initial company to contact? What do we look for? Do we just read Google reviews, or how do we go about that?
Yeah, I think we try with our Google reviews for sure. We understand that that's what a lot of people go to first. But what I would just encourage homeowners to do, it's a great place to ask, one, your neighbors, right? If you have a community Facebook page, really investigate who maybe some of your neighbors have used, so that way you have a direct point of contact for their experience. If you don't have anyone like that, I think Google reviews is a great place to start. I really think that's a great place to start. But if you truly want to know a window replacement company, I would recommend that you look them up on the Better Business Bureau. Usually that's a little bit more eye-opening. You get a little bit more real reviews. You can read through some pretty, minor or severe complaints. And, Ted, as there's companies out there, and this is just preparing our homeowners that, on Google, they could have a 5-star. Right. And then if you check them out on Better Business Bureau, they could be a C-. So I think just in this day and age where, AI is really taking over and some things like that, it's good to rely on some of those, truthful boards like the Better Business Bureau.
Absolutely. So let's say we found the company, we get someone out, and what's the consultation look like for a homeowner typically?
I think a really good consultation, if you have the ability to meet with someone who's willing to listen to you first, right? Really sit down with you. listen to what you're dealing with, what you're trying to achieve. I think that in hopes for our homeowners, I hope that they get to experience something like that. Just someone coming into their home, someone who's willing to listen to them and then, speak second. I know that there's some companies out there that have an agenda, that have a script, and they're really just wanting to follow that A to Z. But the fortunate thing with our company is we're willing to kind of get creative with our presentations. We treat everybody as an individual. We treat their situations as an individual. So, if you have someone come out to your home and they offer to sit down with you at the kitchen table and take notes and ask you questions, I think right off the bat, a homeowner should know, okay, I'm dealing with a pro here.
Sure. And obviously you don't want somebody that's going to be pushy, force you into doing more than what you can do at one time, what you feel comfortable with. Right. I know that's one thing that we've always tried to do is, center it around, your budget, your goals and everything. So if somebody wants to do just a few windows at one time, then we're happy to do that for them. So, kind of maybe look out for that on the front end. Does somebody have minimum quantities? Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of companies that won't come out for less than 6 windows, or they want you to spend a certain amount. That's something typically we don't do, because we feel like if we go in there and we do one window for you, we do a great job, then guess what? You're going to have us back. You're going to refer us out. That usually works out well for us. So, that can be something to look into for sure.
Yeah. I just, if I could share with our homeowners, just something cool that we recently did. We had a homeowner who unfortunately recently replaced their windows with another company. It wasn't us, obviously to be unnamed, and it didn't turn out well for them. I hate to say that. Being in the window business, Ted, we love when we're able to help customers, but what we hate to see is when someone has to do it again. It really is kind of heart-wrenching, and unfortunately this is where that customer landed. So they ended up signing up with us for a relatively large phase, to actually replace all the windows that they had just put in, I believe in September. So we're sitting here in August, so it hadn't even been a year yet. And our approach was this: even though this customer was really willing to do a large project with us, we said, hey, what if we do one window for you? Right? What if we take out just one, put one window in, you can go through our process, you can see, how the window looks, how the install was. So we actually encourage them to start small. Sure. And we just finished up that one window. Everything went so smooth. So now that project's growing. They've actually decided, hey, let's do our entire house. We want you to do all of our doors. So just like you said, if we can start small, we really want to earn the right to work on your home. And if we can prove that with one window, we've had great success doing that.
Yeah, just so other homeowners don't make a mistake, what were the issues that they were dealing with that caused them to have to replace their replacement windows?
And that's the key word, is replacement windows. There's really, when you start looking into it, you have your new construction windows and you have your replacement windows. So companies like us, yes, we offer full frame windows. We can take on new construction homes, but there's no denying the fact the majority of our business is replacement. We are a replacement window company. On the flip side of that, there are companies that are the opposite, right? They are really designed for new construction, and the minority of their business is replacement. So what we're seeing is a lot of companies try to use new construction windows as a replacement application, and it does not work that well. The Infinity window was designed specifically to replace, wood windows. And so in that process, it's very non-invasive for homeowners. They can usually experience something, really well, but unfortunately, this homeowner had someone sell them new construction windows. The installer showed up and told them before he put a window in, he said, I'm just telling you, this is not the right window for this application. And I will say this, Ted, I think that installer did the absolute best that he could, with what he had. But the sales consultant really did not set them up for success. And you could see that they really tried to, for try to put a square peg in a round hole.
Sure.
So
well, it sounds like they had a good installer. So, that's another key point. Not only is the replacement and the new construction applications a little bit different, there's a different skill set when you're working on somebody's home, that may have just had their floors finished, or they have, grandma's family heirloom sitting there, off to the side that we've got to protect and those kind of things. So. Yeah. Which kind of brought up another point that I started thinking about here. There's so many companies out there that we're starting to find out by just going in appointments after them that they're not showing samples of windows. This is a problem. Yeah. We always show people samples of windows so they can see what they're making the investment in, what they're putting in their home, and we can explain the difference between a new construction and replacement window. Is this something that, you're seeing a big trend more and more of? I mean, it's... Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate the process. Really, let's think about it this way. Most homeowners struggle. Let's say you're buying a house, right? And you see the house on Zillow or, Redfin, and you say, wow, this looks like a beautiful home. Are you going to buy that home, or do you want to go see it first, right? All homeowners want to see it first. If you're buying a vehicle, you might see a picture of a vehicle and say, that's a sharp looking car. I think I'd like that. You want to go see it. You want to go test drive it. So yes, I would highly encourage people, if you're looking at windows, don't treat it any differently. Ask to see the product, open and close the window, right? Tilt it in for cleaning, get familiar with it.
No matter who does it, it's not going to be a cheap product, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just like we said, I mean, I cannot be more genuine about this. We do not like seeing when people have to do it twice. So if you can ask some of these questions, during your consultation, I think you'll be better off.
What about references? I know we try to be prepared, but do people actually call them? Do they actually look at work? What are the recommendations there? Because, I feel like hands down, if somebody looks at, a good quality installation versus a mediocre or not so good, they'll start to see the details in it. What's the advice there?
Here's my advice when, we have customers say, and I appreciate this, they're trying to prepare online. And one of the things says, hey, ask for some referrals, right? I'm not a big fan of referrals, because think about it as a resume, right? If you're putting referrals down, you're going to put down the people that are going to absolutely talk great about you, love you, had a pleasurable experience. So as a consumer, if you're asking a window replacement company, hey, are there some referrals that I can call? Honestly, Ted, I don't build a lot of value in that, because I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to give you maybe some paid for people who are just going to love the company, right? So like you said, what I would ask for is more of a reference. Now, what does that mean? Hey, have you done any jobs in my neighborhood, in my zip code, where I can drive by, see how the window looks, see how it was installed? I think if you can just get your eyes on the window and kind of see how it's holding up nearby, I think that's more powerful than trying to just kind of get a probed person that's going to talk well about the business over the phone.
Good point. And if they're getting a close neighbor or something, then they're probably going to get a house that's similar to theirs versus something that's going to look totally different and a different type of architecture.
I'm a story guy. I love telling stories. And, one recently that comes to mind is, we have a really nice townhome community right outside our gates. It's about 5 minutes away. And, this neighborhood really only allows wood windows, and we can kind of get into some HOA requirements later. Our Infinity window is not wood, but it's designed to look like wood, right? So I presented it to the HOA, and they said, wow, this is a really good solution for our homeowner. So we've been able to do a lot of work there. One of our consultants, Chaz, had an appointment in that neighborhood, and he was, kind of going over it with me, trying to help him out. And I said, holy smokes, I know this neighborhood. We've done a lot of work there. And I said, Chaz, write down these names. I did this homeowner. I did this homeowner. I know the HOA president. This is her name and number. So he wrote it all on a piece of paper. He goes to the appointment, he's meeting with the homeowner, consultation. And he says, I did a little bit of, digging for you. I wanted to, come prepared. So he laid down this piece of paper on her table, and she was kind of looking over it. And she goes, holy smokes. And she said the customer's name. She goes, you did his house? And Chaz was like, yeah, yeah, we did. She goes, that's my husband's best friend. He plays, how did he not know that? And then the other name, she was like, you did her house as well? So, a lot of times, if you're out playing golf with your buddies, you're not likely talking about, window replacement. So, sure. A lot of times we come in there with, even with people that they know really well, and they're like, wow, if you did their windows, that's going to be great for me because, I'm good friends with them. We go over there for dinner. So it's just, we try to come prepared for that because you never know. I mean, we could have done a huge project for one of your really close neighbors and you just don't know it. So, coming prepared with those references is good.
Yeah. Personal contact, personal reference is always the best. Mm-hmm. So that's great. What about warranties? What kind of questions do we need to prepare homeowners to ask about warranties? Yeah. Because we all know that if you don't have a great warranty or a good company behind it, it's about as good as the ink it's printed with, right?
Yeah, this is one that I could not be more passionate about. I think most homeowners listening to this podcast would say, oh, warranty. Well, I would know to ask for warranty. That's an easy one. And you might say, hey, Ted, what's the warranty on your windows? And a lot of these, honestly, these salespeople will just say, we offer a lifetime warranty, and they move on. Being in the business as long as we have been, offering multiple different brands, different series of windows, we know there's no such thing as a lifetime warranty, right? Every warranty has limitations that the homeowner needs to know about. So what I just want to encourage homeowners on is ask a probing question of, hey, what's your warranty and what are some of the limitations I need to be aware of, right? Because, the glass a lot of times is limited, 5, 10, 20-year glass warranties. Finish, mechanics is huge. We see a lot of limited mechanics warranties, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year.
Hardware.
Hardware. And, if the window, if you open it and it comes crashing down, that's mechanics, that's hardware, right? You might have a 1 year warranty on it and that's void. So, what I would just encourage homeowners to do is don't, ask about the warranty, but if someone says a lifetime warranty and they try to move on, I would just ask, what are some of the limitations, some of the things that I need to be aware of? And, it's a good thing too, if you have someone respond to the question, say, hey, we have a limited lifetime warranty. Let me walk you through some of the limitations you need to be aware of. Immediately, you're dealing with a pro, someone who's has integrity, who wants to tell the truth. So if I'm a homeowner, I'm moving that company up the list when it comes to decision-making time. Hey, here was someone who did not try to hide information from me and tried to lay it out all on the table and be transparent. Sure. I think that would be huge for homeowners.
Yeah. Giving it to you in writing. And, as you were saying that, another area of warranty that I think homeowners should consider would be the installation and service warranty. I know you talked about the product warranty and the limitations there, but hey, we could all have the best window in the world installed, but if it's not installed properly with the right installation methods and materials, then there's going to be a problem there. So how is that addressed? May not be a product issue, may be an installation issue.
Right.
I know for us, I can share that we have a lifetime service warranty, but we also have a premium product that we fortunately don't have a lot of warranty claims with.
Right.
So what are some of the things to look out for on the service warranty?
Yeah, I think that's huge, Ted. A lot of homeowners are going to ask about window warranty and they don't really think about the installation part. And as we know, the installation is probably more important than the window itself. I mean, being real, you could buy a gold-plated window, and if it's not installed right, it's worthless. So, what I would encourage homeowners to do is kind of just for a second, put yourself in the shoes of potentially a business owner, right? If you're a business owner and you're giving a 2-year installation warranty, right? That's telling you that business owner probably doesn't have a lot of faith in his installers, probably doesn't have a lot of faith in the product. Whereas if you have a lifetime service warranty, right? Now you know that, okay, that owner, this company is confident in their product. They are confident in their installers. So I would ask, hey, what is your labor warranty? And again, if they answer lifetime labor warranty, we do see those. We do see lifetime labor warranties. But, one of the different things about us is we give it in writing. We give it in every brochure so a customer can see, something nice and professional that we have typed up. So they
no fine print.
No fine print, right. So if you have a sales consultant that says lifetime labor warranty, right? Well, do you have something for me that I can have to read through it? So I don't want to set the expectation with homeowners that you should always be weary and create this fear, but we just want to help you out, really, go in there so you feel confident and empowered to ask some of these questions to protect yourself.
Are there trip charges, service charges, those type of things?
And, if I could with our homeowners, if you really want to feel dangerous, I would even ask if their installers are AMA certified. I think that's, if Ted, you can help me out. The AMA is
the American Architectural Manufacturers Association. They kind of set the bar on how installations are done, the methodologies. We actually have somebody that is a master trainer here on staff that keeps all of our project managers and crews up to date with their certifications and the best methodologies, because things evolve. Mm-hmm. Window installations evolve. The type of insulation that we use and, sealants and things like that. There's always new technologies. There's improvements and things like that we need to be aware of. And AMA is just a great organization that's helped us do that.
And talking with our installers, I've never been to AMA. I'm more on the, the sales side of things, not necessarily the installation side of things, but just in talking with them, it's not easy. I mean, it's not something you just walk in there and it's, 2 + 2 equals. I mean, this is high technical information. This is really, they're giving these master certified installers, right? That needs to mean something. So these tests that they're taking, these courses that they're taking, they're going to be high level. They're going to ask hard questions. And, going back to our homeowner that we put the one window for as a trial, I asked the husband, I said, hey, how did you hear about us? He said, and he kind of looked at me kind of embarrassed. He said, well, the experience we've had. And he said, I wanted to do more information. I wanted to educate myself. Ted, did you know that he bought the AMA training manual and read it?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so how he heard about us is he contacted AMA and he said, can you please provide me a company who has AMA certified installers? And we had the most in the state. I don't know if you knew that, but when he contacted AMA, they said North Georgia Replacement Windows has the most certified installers in the state of Georgia. So he said, well, sounds like that's my company. So, if you're a homeowner and you ask, a consultant, hey, are your installers AMA certified? I think, that would immediately tell that consultant, okay, this is someone who's educated themselves, that, I can't really beat around the bush. So I think that's a phenomenal question to ask.
Absolutely. Earlier, I want to make sure we get back to it. You mentioned HOA, and we've had, which stands for Homeowners Association. The intention behind the HOAs are very good. They want to keep everybody's property value up. They want things to look great in the neighborhood, but there is a potential to run into issues there. Can we at least hit on that so somebody doesn't make a decision that could cost them more down the road? Yeah.
So what I would encourage every homeowner to do before you really start investigating window replacement companies and who you're going to have out, I would really, educate yourself on what your HOA requirements are. They have requirements on grid patterns sometimes, colors a lot of the times. Even what we're seeing a lot of, I think times have just evolved. We're in 2024 now. We've seen multiple HOAs just say, plastic vinyl windows are not allowed.
That's right.
They're not allowed. So as a homeowner, if you meet with 4 plastic vinyl window companies, you'll realize, holy smokes, I just wasted a lot of time. So we have, phenomenal neighborhoods. One that, comes to mind is Windward. This HOA is so specific that they give reveal dimensions on the windows that's allowed. So what a reveal dimension is, to make it simple, it's how thick your frame is, right? So they want windows that offer a lot of glass that look like traditional wood windows. Yeah. If you go in this neighborhood, you see a lot of architecture, a lot of beautiful homes. And, that's one of the things that I kind of took, ownership of was, hey, I have a responsibility to, complement the architecture architecture of the home. Many years ago, there was a builder that sketched this out, put thought into this home and how it was going to look and where the natural light was coming. So, we have that ownership to complement the architecture, and, neighborhoods like Windward understand that, hey, if someone comes in here and just puts in cheap plastic vinyl windows, our home values are going to go down. The aesthetics of our home are going to go down. So, I would just encourage you, before you really spend a lot of time, really understand what your HOA requirements are, and then you can start to, dwindle it down from there.
Yeah. And that really protects the homeowners from a lot of these negative aspects. If they have a nice golf course view or lake view, they don't want to lose, the dimensions of their window and, light coming into their home. So, that's a huge advantage. And a lot of these HOAs require wood windows, which is crazy because we just talked about wood windows in the state of Georgia and all of our moisture issues and heat issues and the rot that we deal with. Doesn't make sense to put a wood window in. But one of the reasons that they want you to do that is because they want the paintability aspect of it, right? Yeah. Well, nice thing with our Infinity fiberglass windows, they are paintable.
Right.
So they can, if you find out the root cause or the root of why they want a particular type of window in there, then you may be able to get something approved that's going to be better suitable for you down the road, a better investment, something that you won't have to approach again.
And one thing that we can all agree on, although wood windows aren't a great fit for our climate, they're beautiful. It's you can stain them really nice, and they give you a lot of glass. So a lot of times, HOAs just say wood windows because it's a safe bet, right? They know wood windows look nice. Yes, they might not perform well. So a lot of times when we come in, like the story I was telling earlier, and we say, hey, we have a window that looks like wood, even though it's not wood, all of a sudden they say, wow, we didn't know that this existed. Of course, we want our homeowners to have this as an option. So really, Ted, when I see wood windows only, usually I translate that to wood or wood looking windows, sure. Right? I think that's really the intention of the HOA, is just to make sure it looks nice. So, just another quick story. I remember when I first started here, I met a homeowner. We have these big home shows, like the Cobb Home Show and the Duluth Home Show. If you ever go to one, it's everything you could buy. I mean, they have hot tubs and windows and siding and roofing. So I met with a homeowner. She had a really cool story. She went to the University of Georgia, go Dogs. I'm a Georgia grad as well. And she was so smart. When she went to Georgia, instead of, having a dorm or an apartment, she bought herself a little house, when she was 18. It's just this little cute house. And, all of a sudden I'm meeting with her, and her sons are going to the University of Georgia, and she still had that little house. So now her sons are going there. So all of a sudden she wants to update the flooring and, get it nice for her sons, and windows were a part of that. Unfortunately, I lost the business. I actually lost it to one of our competitors. So I met with her in March at the home show. I lost the job to one of our competitors. She called me back in September. She said, hey, do you remember me? I said, yeah, I do. What's going on? She said, the windows that I bought, my home's in a historic part of Athens, and I put in vinyl windows, and I need to take them out. Oh, no. And I was like, oh boy. And she said, I asked them, what windows can I have? And they said, Marvin. She goes, I have a contact for that. So, sure enough, I went out to her house, and now, her and her sons have beautiful Marvin windows. So,
oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah. But yes, if we'd approached the HOA ahead of time, we could have got ahead of that.
First, drives the point. Yep, for sure.
And I know from our standpoint, some of these things are hard to remember. So when we come in, and one of our final processes of expediting your order to do the final measures, to get all your custom windows, we're going to ask some of these questions. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you have an HOA? Just in case the design consultant missed, because there can be, 100 different things or more that we're going over in this consultation. So it's hard to remember everything. So we'll try to help on the back end with that as well.
Yeah. And, one of the other things, just, while my brain's going, I just want to, educate homeowners on is trim expectations as well. That was one that was kind of near and dear to me. Really, when you think about your home, you likely have windows that have trim around them, right? And especially on the exterior. Some you might not, but most you do. And so it's a good question to ask, hey, you're replacing windows, but what about the trim around it, right? If you don't ask that question, I can tell you what's going to happen. They're going to cap it. And what capping means is they're going to use aluminum, roll-formed aluminum, which is as thin as a Coke can. Specifically, it can bend nice and they can get sharp points on it, so it looks somewhat decent. But believe it or not, if you don't really ask that question, they're going to put your windows in and they're literally going to cap over the wood.
Yeah,
right.
And that's a big problem. Especially if people have rot, like we were talking about earlier. If you cover up rot, then it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse and can, actually become a structural issue at some point. And then you're not just dealing with trim, then you're dealing with a much bigger investment.
And, the sad thing is, because I've seen it usually because it's all covered up, homeowners don't realize there's an issue till it's worked its way inside. Yeah. And now they're seeing that, wait, why is my drywall a little bit mushy? Why am I seeing water stains here? You pull that cladding back and you realize, holy smokes, Ted, I can't tell you how many times I've pressed on clad to realize, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, there's nothing back there. It's just all deteriorated. So, again, if you have a window replacement company that's going to say, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to take that rotted trim off your house. It doesn't even have to be rotted. It could be weathered. It could be deteriorated. You're buying brand new windows. It needs to look nice.
Yeah. How are you going to approach it? And then also, what are you going to put back so we don't deal with the same problem over and over?
Yeah. I mean, our best approach is to, put up new composite trim, so that it's not going to rot on you. We can even paint it for you. So it's a turnkey service. So we don't, cap, even if we're asked to. We just know that it's not a great experience for homeowners. So again, if you have someone coming into your home that says, hey, I'm not going to do it either, I'm going to replace it with composite trim, again, you should move that company up the list. That sounds like a pro company that knows what they're doing.
Sure. And there's so many companies out there. We're seeing competition move into our marketplace, almost on a weekly basis. We talked, I think, in another podcast previously about the low barrier to entry to get into the window business. If you have the tools or, a truck and a ladder, a lot of times, you can call yourself a window company.
Yeah.
What do people need to be aware of in terms of, how long people have been in business? Do they have a brick and mortar location? I know we have a showroom. How important is that?
I think it's very important. I think you can really understand who a company is and how long they've been in business when you get to see their facilities, right? So if you ask someone in your home, let's say a salesperson, do you have a showroom? And they don't, right? That should really be telling that, okay, maybe this, without even looking, right? Maybe this is a business that hasn't been around very long. Maybe they're new to the state, right? I think that should immediately be a red flag for a homeowner. But even if they do, again, just, even going back to what we were talking about with samples, if you could go to a beautiful showroom where you're talking about, big scenic doors and larger windows, it's nice to go to a place to, to see them. And I think for a homeowner as well, it's good to have more than one point of contact. If you have a consultant at your home and they're really, really good and you really like them and they were a pleasure to deal with, and then you go to the showroom and you get that same experience, you can start to realize, wow, this is a company that has, standards. Everyone that I've dealt with has been pleasant, has really tried to help me. So yeah, obviously, Better Business Bureau can help you out in terms of how long they've been in business, and, Google can help you with, company addresses and things like that. But if it's on the fly, really, if you just ask someone, hey, do you have a showroom? That should really kind of be a telltale of who you're dealing with.
Well, thank you, Kevin. This has been some great information. To wrap up, is there any final thoughts that you'd like to leave a homeowner that may be considering this project? Just some final advice on an approach to take.
I would just say, whether you live in Georgia, which is where we're at, or if you're anywhere else in the country, feel free to check us out on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. We're constantly trying to put out content to educate our homeowners, even if you're going to do business with us or not. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to check us out on social, and hopefully you can, find something that can answer some of your questions.
Thanks for listening to the Window Wisdom Podcast. And if you like what you've heard, please give us a thumbs up and share with others. Until next time.